How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1. Go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2. Collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3. Play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games. All for free?
Step 4. Unleash your excitement.
Woohoo!
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to We Are The Hansons. Today, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind a lot lately. Raising kids with different personalities. When you have a big family like mine, you start to realize pretty quickly that no two kids are the same, even though they come from the same home, the same parents, and often grow up with the same rules. Their personalities can be widely different. And let me tell you, figuring out how to parent each one in the way they need. That's a whole adventure in itself. I think you start to notice the differences early in life. And even when they're babies, some kids are naturally more easygoing and they go through the flow and sleep through the night and adjust easy to new situations. And then, there are the ones who are a little more particular. Like, there are kids that have certain blankets that they have to fall asleep. And others, you get off that routine or the routine shifts just a little bit and it's different. I remember when Maddie was little, she was so independent right from the start. She didn't want help with things, and she would get very frustrated if I tried to step in to help. But then one of the younger ones would cling to me for comfort over the smallest thing. I had to learn that they both needed me, just in very different ways. And what I mean by that is one wants comfort, one wants their independence. So you have to balance the two. You got to comfort one and have a little help with the other, which even though they don't want help, you still try. That's the thing about raising kids with different personalities. You can't use a one-size-fits-all parenting style. What works for one kid might not completely work for another one, and it might backfire. Some of my kids respond very well to gentle guidance and a little bit of space to figure things out on their own. Others need more structured approach, clear rules, direct consequences, and a lot of consistency. I've got a couple of kids who thrive on praise. If I tell them how proud I am of them or how great they did, it fuels them to keep working hard. But others, if I praise them too much, they start to feel pressure and shut down. So I've had to figure out when to step in and encourage and when to step back and let them come to me. And of course, different personalities mean different conflict styles. Some of my kids are really sensitive, and if they get into a fight with a sibling, they need time and space to cool off. And that's normal. Everybody has their own way. Others want to talk it out right away and get frustrated if the other person isn't ready to do that. And managing that dynamic is tricky because you don't want to force one to engage when they're not ready. But you also want to teach them how to communicate and compromise. I found that teaching them to respect each other's differences is key. You might need to explain to the kid who likes to talk things out that sometimes their siblings need quiet time before they're ready to discuss it. And sometimes that works for us adults as well. And you have to remind the quiet one that avoiding the conversation forever isn't going to solve anything either. And I know my husband is that way, where he likes to walk away and take a break and a little breather, and then he'll come back and we'll discuss it. Me, I'm the one that likes to get right to business, sit down and talk about it right then. It's also about, noticing what each child's natural strengths and weaknesses are. One of my kids might be super creative, and they can sit down with a pile of art supplies and turn it into something amazing without any direction. Another one might be more analytical. They want instructions, structure, and clear steps to follow. If I try to push the creative one to follow strict rules, it stifles them. And if I give the analytical one too much freedom, they feel overwhelmed. So I've learned to lean into their strengths while helping them build up the areas where they struggle. If one of my kids is naturally empathetic, but tends to take on other people's emotions too much, I try to teach them how to set boundaries. If another kid is really logical, but struggles with emotional expression, I try to help them understand how to connect with their feelings without forcing it, if that makes sense. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is that teaching kids about their own personality and how it interacts with others is just as important as understanding it myself. I've had conversations with my kids about how we all think and feel differently, and that's okay. They need to know that it's not about changing who they are. It's about learning how to navigate the world with the personality that they have. Sometimes I'll just sit down with them after a conflict and say, hey, I know you like to handle things head on, but your brother needs a little more time. How can we find a, middle ground there? Or I'll tell one of my more sensitive kids, I know that hurt your feelings, but maybe your sister didn't mean it that way. She's just more, direct. The hardest part, honestly, is letting go of the idea that I can control how they turn out. I can guide them, teach them, and give them all the tools I have, but they're still going to grow into the person they're meant to be, not how I want them to be. And sometimes that person is going to be very different from what I imagined. And it's tough when you see a kid struggling with something their siblings handle easily. It's easy to think, well, if they just did it this way, it would be better. But that's not how it works. What's easy for one kid is hard for another, and that is perfectly okay. But you know what? That's also the beauty of it. Seeing how different they are means you get to celebrate so many unique milestones. Watching one kid score a goal in soccer after months of practice and watching another one finally master a piece of music they've been working on for weeks, it's all success. And it's all special because it reflects who they are as individuals. And honestly, their differences make our family stronger. They learn from each other, and the quieter ones learn to speak up from their louder siblings. The confident ones learn patience and empathy from the more sensitive ones. And as a parent, I have learned to let go of the idea that my way is the only way, because each kid teaches me something new every day. So, if you're raising kids with different personalities, and honestly, who isn't? My advice is this: get to know your kids for who they are, not who you think they should be. Because every child is different. Just when you think your child is the same as your other child, you will sit there and you will see that there are so many differences in each child. They are not the same, even though sometimes you see them doing similar things or acting similar ways. There is always something that makes them different. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I have watched all of my kids, all their personalities and how they act and how they react to things. And every one of them is different. I do have to say, my Torin, she is more an emotional kid. So if somebody says something and she takes it wrong, she will cry. My Anna, on the other hand, she's more of a, I would have to say, more of a fighter, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes when Torin will say something to Anna, she'll get really loud and mad at her. And then Torin will say, "Oh, I didn't mean it like that." And once Torin explains it to her, then she's okay. Sometimes when I ask them to clean, they'll say, "I didn't make that mess." And then I'll say, "It doesn't matter who made it. We all need to help and pick up together." The one will get mad at the other one because they don't feel it is their job to pick it up because they didn't mess it. But we work through it and we get there. Now, I do have kids in our home that when they get upset, they don't talk. It's just they stay quiet. And it's not always a bad thing to stay quiet. I feel that everybody should have that space. Because when they are ready, they will eventually talk about it. And that's okay. So, give them the space to be different while helping them understand how to respect and connect with each other. And remember, you're not going to get it right all the time, but if you're showing up, paying attention, and loving them for who they are, you're doing a pretty great job. So, that being said, I want to tell you guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. If you got stories about raising kids with different personalities, I would definitely love to hear from you. You can send me a message at We Are The Hansons on our Facebook page, or you can send me an email at wearethehansonsshow@gmail.com. And please go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe for me.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.